Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Wine Army Spotlight here on JLJ Media. I am James Lott Jr. here and with my amazing co-host Amanda Russ. Hello, Amanda. And as you can see, who's here, she plays Abby on the #1 daytime drama, The Young and the Restless. We always praise her on this show. We're so happy to have her from the set.
Oh, thank you. Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Happy to have you here too. Okay, I have to ask you. There's two questions I really want to ask you, just to start right off. Number one, do you know Abby's conception story?
I do know that story very well, actually, because Eileen has shared it with me several times. She's like, "You are a turkey baster, baby, skull and sperm." She's like, "I love you dearly, but that is how you came into this world."
Isn't that crazy? That I remember that story, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so crazy." I'm like, you're playing a character you started out very interestingly.
Yeah. I did, whatever works for people. I'm just happy that it took, and Abby's in the universe, and I'm thankful for that.
And then on a whole other term, I know if I can speak for Amanda and our other co-host Tammy Govea, we can say this to you: we really appreciate your work. When Chance died, your work was so realistic. And raw. The whole denial part was just like, no, he's like, there's no body, there's no anything. To the don't touch me kind of, to mom stay nearby. Like, it was the whole thing. So I want to ask you, I know it's acting, I know it isn't, so you're good, but where did you go to get there?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, because honestly, the whole crying, all of that stuff, it was actually super hard for me when I first started on soap operas, because I think as a human being, I'm someone that's if I'm going to cry, I'm I'm just going to go outside. I don't want anyone to see this. And it's so internal, and we're on a soap opera and it's a drama. And it's no, you have to show that, you have to be able to convey that on camera. And so it's something that I was really struggling with for a long time. And so thank you for saying that. Once I had kids, it became easier, because I just start thinking about you just love them so much. I don't know if it's a hormonal thing. I don't know what happens, but I cry at everything now. It's become much easier. But I owe a lot of it to the writing. Yeah. Because it was super well written, and just the way that they wrote all of the different things that Abby was going through made it easier. And also, when you just think about losing someone in your life, it's a hard story to tell, because so many people have been through that. And so you want to do it justice, and you don't want to it's a hard day at work. And so I feel I just spent a lot of time trying to get into that spot of thinking about if you lost someone that you just loved so much. And unfortunately that happened to someone very close in my life around the same time. And so it's just thank you. I don't really know how it happened, but it's a combination of all of those things, and great directors, and just a great crew that's we all in cast, and everyone just being there and loving and supporting each other. So it was definitely a team effort for sure.
Amanda, you want to ask about that soon?
I was wondering, was it hard for you to transition into soaps? When you first came in?
It definitely was, because it's such a well-oiled machine. And I watched this show growing up. My mom would watch Young and the Restless every single day. It came on at 12:30 in Atlanta, Georgia. And my mom would iron, and she would fold clothes, and she would watch her stories. Yes. And so Young and the Restless was #1. And I actually remember I had a Ken and Barbie doll. One was Victor, one was Nikki. And so I would perform, I would act things out and try and pretend things while my mom was watching. And thinking about it, it was highly inappropriate for obviously watching it as a child, but you know what? It all worked out. Yes. And
it really worked out.
It really did.
Totally worked out.
I felt Victor was part of my family. My whole life. So it was hard, because everyone is so on top of it, and they already know what they're doing. They know where the marks and the standing. And my first day of work, I had only done other things, and they always said action. And when I came onto set, they were like, ISIS 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is how they used to say action. And I remember I just stood there.
You're like, what?
I was waiting for the action, and they were like, no, we don't say that here. I was like, oh, okay. And so yeah, it was like I think also because I was so nervous. I watched the show. I was such a fan of it, and I wanted to be on it for a long time. I wanted to be a part of it. And so the nerves and all of it, and just having to memorize all of the dialogue. I mean, it's like we shoot an episode to an episode and a half a day, which is crazy. Other things shoot like 5 pages a day.
Right.
Our scenes are 5 pages long. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And so it's definitely a lot of work, but, and it was a transition, but I'm so thankful to be here.
Yeah. It's last year was a tough time. There was the quarantine, all this stuff, and your husband, who we know from other things, was able to join you for the infamous thing. So, what was that like going to work with your husband for a little bit? What was that like?
It was so fun because honestly, I didn't know at first if he was just going to be like a body double, and I would just him. And I didn't know, but he like was actually going to act all of this stuff out. And it was so much fun. At night, we would like go home and run lines. And I was like trying to fill him in because he watches the show sometimes, but like it is a complicated dynamic because everyone's related to other people and there's like backstory. And so trying to fill him in on who Chance was. And quite honestly, a lot of the time I don't talk about like my partners on set, like because
sure, yes,
like,
I'm
home and you're like, so I had a love scene today and blah blah blah. He wouldn't care, but like we don't really talk about it. And so I was like trying to fill him in on the background, and it was just so much fun. And it felt like we were able to kind of get remarried again with all of our friends and family from work, because I was already married when I started the show. So it was like a vow renewal in front of some of my favorite people.
That's so
yeah,
sweet.
That is so sweet. That's right. Actually, and how many times you get that in your life, or in your work life and your personal life?
It was so cool because the girls got to watch it on TV. And so they actually, after they were like, oh, well, no, actually I'm marrying daddy. So they like took turns, like dressing up, and we had to do the song and everything. And they pretended like they were married to him. It was really sweet.
Amanda?
Well, was it hard for you losing Chance as losing your acting partner? Was it hard for you, or were you just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this?
Yeah, it's hard because you develop a relationship with someone on camera and on, you characters, and you really try to find that groove with someone, and it's always like not ideal, so that but at the same time, like it's the acting business. And so you kind of just roll with the punches, and you're like, okay, cool. Like, what's next? Like, I always trust the vision of the people that are writing the show and the people that are, behind the scenes, because they know this way better than I do. And I'm like, oh, if this is what you know what, this is awesome. And I'm paid to perform what you put on the paper.
That's right.
And so I trust that process. And sometimes it's like, oh, well, that stinks. But then sometimes you're like, okay, well, I trust you, whatever you have in mind, like, let's do it. And you just kind of forge forward.
And then you have the reverse sometimes in soap operas, they bring back somebody. The judge, they brought him back, and it was like, oh, okay, so you get to actually work with somebody you worked with before. Like
I was so excited when Sean came back because I love him so much. Like, we have so much fun together, and he was such like backstage such a big part of my life when I had Olivia. And so like it was cool to be reunited because there was so much going on in our lives at the time, and like just to be together again. And he's just one of the best guys. He's awesome.
Yes. And he's also a comedian. People don't know that. He does comedy.
Hilarious. He's so funny. Yeah.
He does comedy. And then again, we just have to ask you, your parents are portrayed by Eileen Davidson and Eric Braeden, both who I know and have interviewed. What is that like? It must be some joy to come in and have it, especially with this storyline. They were heavily involved.
So I'm so sorry. It froze on my end, so I didn't hear the
Oh,
question.
okay.
So I heard the Eileen Davidson part and then it cut off.
Oh, and Eric Braeden are your
Oh,
parents.
yes.
Are your parents. And they were heavily in the storyline. She came back, Eileen came back for the storyline. Eric was there. Give us like 2 words to describe each of them for you. Eric Braeden and Eileen Davidson.
Okay.
That'll be the question. That'll be the question.
Eileen Davidson is, gosh, only 2 words. I am a mega fan of Eileen Davidson.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm like,
tell it, girl. Tell it, girl. Tell it. Tell it.
And she's even better in person. I know that that's way more than 2 words, but she has like the kindest heart. She's hilarious. A lot of people don't know that about her. She's so funny. And we just have such a good time together. Half the time, like in between, like I'm supposed to be crying and like upset, and like her and I are just trying to like keep it together because like something distracted us and like we start laughing. So I love her. I've always been a fan of hers. And then Eric Braeden is one of my favorite people in the world. I would say hilarious is a word that I would use to describe him. And just very gifted and bright. Like he is a very smart man. He knows a lot about pretty much everything going on in the world, and just like random facts and tidbits. And another person that I am always trying not to laugh with on set. Once Eric starts laughing, it's over with. We're all done. Like we're just like gonna have to call in for the rest of the day because he's just hilarious.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I know. He actually is very nice, folks. You guys, he's very nice. He's not Victor Newman. He's not.
No, it's so funny because he plays such a serious character, but he's so funny.
He is. I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So now the storyline is continuing. So Chance is not gone, or Chance is gone. He's not gone. So like you are. Abby's like, bye. I'm gonna go look for him. Like, see you later. I'm gone. So what is that? So what is that journey like for you playing that beat now?
I feel like Abby is just like, I'm not believing this. I haven't seen the body. If I'm going to believe this, I need to see it for myself. So she goes on a journey to try to figure out what happened to her husband. So she goes off to Spain and she starts looking for Chance. And so she has a hunch. Abby is a very smart person, and she has a hunch. She's going to go with her Victor instincts on this. And
Newman, she is half Newman. Yeah.
It's cool because at first I'm like, I was like, you never know what they're going to do. Like, I thought maybe he could be dead. I don't know. Like, and then you're not sure. And so, writing you never know what's going to happen in Genoa City. So, it was fun to kind of, I always have said for quite a while that I would love for Abby to be a private investigator and just be able to like work for the GCPD and figure things out. That would be super fun. And so this is my like version of doing that.
Well, I'm telling you, Amanda, you said on the show, you said you felt her when she said she didn't see a body. You felt that. You're like, you said on the show.
Yeah, I said I would be the same way. I would be like, no, that does not prove anything. Like I need proof.
Yeah, she needs like some hard evidence. Like just because you found a ring, just because like all of these things, it's not looking good. It doesn't look great or promising, but she's not going to believe it until she sees it for herself. And I think that that's something that, I mean, I feel like I would be that way too. It's like, no, like you can tell me this, but like I'm not gonna, you don't know 100% that he was in that building. You don't know that he was in that explosion. Maybe his bag was just in there. Maybe his stuff was in there, but you don't know that he was in there.
No, Amanda said that.
Right? That's what I said.
Yeah. Said rings. He's like, okay, the ring, and the rings.
Yeah, it's a ring. Like, who knows? Like, doesn't mean it was on his finger.
Right.
Hey, you never know what Chance was up to in Spain. Maybe he was playing single. You never know. Maybe he took that ring off.
It's just funny you're saying that because Amanda said that on our show. Actually, she's like, I understand where she's coming from. I'm like, oh, look at it.
Thank you for the support. I appreciate that.
Well, this is going to be very complicated because, I said this at the show. I see a little Devon Abby. There's some closeness there and chemistry.
Thank you. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. This is something that Brighton and I have been playing up for the past 9 years. I'm like, hey, we're not related. There's only a few people in the
We're not related.
That's
Abby can only date certain people, and he's on the list, and so he's at the top of Abby's list. So we'll see what happens.
That's hilarious. You're right. You're not related. Not really.
No.
Well, that's right.
We keep saying we want you two together.
And poor baby Dominic is related to everybody. He's never gonna date anybody in this town.
Right?
It's so true. He is. You guys all keep bringing it up. He's a Chancellor, Newman, Abbott. They're like, yeah, well, he's dead. He's dead. We need somebody new to come into town.
Someone's gonna have to move into town for that boy to date. Like, poor thing.
So you have that going on. Then you have the talented. We love her. The talented Cameron Grimes playing Mariah. And that whole storyline beat. And we're like, girl, just let her grieve for a second. Don't try to take her baby. Let her grieve.
She was like, go. I'll move in. Go.
I'll take care of the baby. It's fine. Like what? Let Abby have a moment.
I'll find anyone else in town except for you. This poor baby. I mean, poor Mariah. I feel bad. We were dying laughing on set filming this because I was like, no, not you. You check nanny.com or something like except for Mariah. Poor Mariah. I would have left my baby with Mariah for sure. She would be perfect.
So we know that Chance is coming back. We saw this, it's been, it's coming back. So this should actually be very interesting for the whole clan, for everybody. You must be excited to play these beats now.
I'm so excited because I think that because people know that there is a Chance coming back, that they think that it might just be like sunshine and rainbows and that everything is going to be great. And Abby and Chance are going to pick up right from where they left off. And I'm not sure if that's how it's going to go. Like you said, there's like some things going on with Devon, and there's like, the baby attachment and like all the kind of the closeness that happened between Abby and Devon while Chance was away. And, everything that Chance has gone through where, over in Spain. And so you never know, like, I'm excited to see what happens. I think that it's going to be a lot more dramatic than just like, hey, you're back. Cool. Like, we're in love again. And like, we're going to raise this baby and it's going to be happily ever after.
Right. Who is Abby to you, Melissa? Is she a sister, a twin, a cousin, a best friend? Who is she to you?
Abby would be like, sometimes the lines get blurred. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure.
No, Abby would be like someone a best friend that I would want to hang out with, someone that would always have your back. The thing I love about Abby and that I relate to most is her love for family. That she tries to do the right thing. Like, I feel like it doesn't always happen that way for her, but she really has good intentions. And I would want to go to a club with Abby, maybe not the Naked Heiress days, but maybe more the name Abby.
There was a while back you and Taraya were dancing as you kind of did a little dance. You guys were trying to get down for a minute back then, a little bit.
Yeah, I would love to have Abby on my side because I feel like she's someone that would make things happen for sure.
Yes. Amanda, as we wrap this up, Amanda, what any last question you'd like to ask?
Okay, I just want to say, I don't have a question, but I want to say, me and Tammy love you so much. That's our other co-host. And your performance when you left the baby with Devon was so good. I was crying. I was like, no. And then it was just great. And we love your style.
Yes.
We talk about it all the time.
All the time.
Thank you. David Zyla I can't take credit for anything. Like, he is so great at what he does. And he picks out like perfectly great things for Abby, and like it really like makes the whole character, kind of like ties it up in a bow for everybody. And thank you for saying that, like, because that was kind of hard, like, because it's like, well, how does a mom leave her like little baby, this baby that she's wanted for so long?
Yes.
But ultimately I think it's for the good of her family for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Miss Melissa, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate it to come back sometime. We'd love to have you back on the show.
I love hanging out with you guys anytime. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. And you guys have made my day for sure. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
You made our day.
It made our day. It made our day. Mr. Ordway, guys, follow her online and follow her on The Young and the Restless.
Keep watching, guys. It gets good. That's for sure.
We will see you next time.